think me and my teammates, we have potential to beat everyone in this tournament. We believe in ourselves and we want to show it on the pitch. We'll pass the group stage and we will see what happens in the knockout stage, hopefully.
It's a difficult group because all clubs has a very strong players, but we trade a lot and we will do our best.
Right, well, let's get this party started then, shall we? We can take a look then at who's going to be featuring in this first game of the first match of the day for Group B. And I can tell you it should be a very scintillating one indeed between Galatasaray and AS Roma. And it should be very interesting to see exactly which players are going to be featuring for this one. So we'll see here in just a moment. But what I can tell you is that it's going to be a pair of debutants. It's going to be Joel, who features for the first time in this competition. However, he comes in off the back of winning the E-Euro Championship with Serbia. And on top of that, we've got another debutant, which is Stifler, also making his appearance with Roma for the first time and in this competition. But on top from that, he has reached European finals 3 times in the 3v3 format. So Harry, guys, it's going to be really interesting to see how he fares in this 1v1 mode of competition.
Yeah, this is a very interesting match to start the day. When you look at the two clubs' lineups, you have experience littered throughout. You look at Galatasaray, you have the likes of Mujahid, who's captained the club for a second season now, has had successful international duty tournaments as well. You have Kepa as well as Diol, who has won the E-Euros last summer in 1 versus 1, featured perhaps more prominently than the debutant we're about to see, Wes. But this first game is going to see 2 newbies to the eFootball Championship Pro, and it could be a bit of a trial by fire, couldn't it?
Yeah, well, we don't really know what to expect out of debutants. I mean, we saw it with Nexa yesterday in terms of how good he was, but in terms of with Stifler and De Jol, it's going to be a little bit of a chess match, I would imagine, because you've got 2 debutants who probably won't want to lose their first game. They probably won't want to give any ground to either team, and as a result, it could really give us an interesting contest in the opening game of the day.
That I can imagine it certainly will be, guys.
Semra, I'm looking forward to this one.
I am as well. But just a friendly reminder before I hand things off to the two of you, while these may be new faces to the tournament, there is one face that you will remember well indeed, and that is going to be the referee who is going to be here with us again today, Sergio Barragán. He is going to be in charge of making sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible when it comes to compliance and the rules of the tournament. There he is. He's locked in and ready to go, which means that we'll hand things back over to you two, Harry and Wes, and take it away. Let's see what we've got in store for this first game. Very exciting.
Very exciting indeed, Semra. Thank you so much. Great to have you along with us this season. My apologies for talking over you. I just love the limelight. Wes, 2 players in the spotlight this time around is going to be the debutants. It's going to be Diol for Galatasaray. We have Stifler for Roma. And something that we neglected to mention yesterday is, well, quite a big part of the competition, isn't it? They're playing Dream Team. They're locked at 2,300 ratings. So that could make a big difference to some of the bigger clubs. But in terms of the stronger players they have, but Galatasaray, Roma, big clubs within themselves, they're going to have to figure out what kind of lineups they want to field here to fit within those parameters in this competition.
Yeah, exactly. You have 2,300 team strength that you have the ability to work with. So it's then a case of, do you power up your best players or do you level them up as high as they can go? But then that can also cause you problems at other ends of the pitch.
Well, look at this. Stifler trying to make his mark on the competition as soon as possible. That one, though, pulled out for an early offside. So now we get a chance to introduce the teams. We have, of course, Galatasaray, the Turkish Giants, going up against AS Roma. Decked out all in white are the latter, attacking from left to right. And it's going to be fun to see exactly how these esports players line up within those Dream Team parameters. As you said, Wes, who do they level up? Who do they power up in their lineups? As well as Who do you maybe keep back? Who do you keep on the bench in case things go south or you need a change of tactics? For now, though, to start off Group B, Zaniolo here for Stifler. Goes for goal. Might come back to Tammy Abraham as well, but cleared away well.
Yeah, and that's the critical bit, and the point I was making is that if you go and, say, power up your star players or you level them up to their max level, the issue then becomes is you've used a lot of your team strength just to power up that player. So then do you lose something in defence? Do you lose something in midfield? That's one aspect of it, and team play style level is also a big aspect of it here.
Stifler has started this opening 10 very strong for Roma. He's coming forward here once again for Pellegrini. Cleared away. And that could have been very dangerous, Wes. This is a good passage of play so far from Stifler.
Yeah, it's great little interplay, neat little 1-2. Unlucky to hit the post, goes near side. Again, probably the right move there. Maybe trying to bank on if there's a manual goalkeeper that comes out there. But again, goes and gets cleared out, and it is a corner. We've seen these, become almost penalties for some clubs over the game day one.
It's driven in, but can't quite beat the man at the near post. Crossed in and headed, but can't again find the goal for Stifler. Diol, though, hasn't really had a chance to attack so far. Maybe some nerves here, Wes, dare I say?
Yeah, it's about your confidence on the biggest stage. It's okay, this is game one of match one. You're looking to try and set the pace for your team, and again, trying to get forward, at least from a Galatasaray point of view. You're looking at Bafétimbi Gomis. You're looking at those types of players to get into the game early, but at risk, especially with both of them playing quick counter, you have a lot of players going forward the minute you have the ball. The minute you lose it, though, you're going to leave a lot of gaps in behind. So both teams are going to need to be careful here.
Well, we saw possession there flash up for just a moment in the opening 15. Over 70% possession in game one so far for AS Roma. Plenty of time to rectify that, though, from Galatasaray. Here is that man you mentioned earlier, Bafétimbi Gomis. Going to be somewhat of a target man, a talisman, dare I say, to use that term again. Here he is on the ball now. Looking to feed through a striker, and that's a first shot on goal for Giol in the eFootball Championship Pro. That'll do him the world of good.
Yeah, but you'll notice as that ball comes out up the pitch quite quickly, Roma are up in numbers, and Galatasaray are committing bodies. You'll see 3 in the box at the moment already.
Lovely piece of skill in the box, and well, maybe some of the fans expecting the referee to blow up there, but it has to be said, settling into the game very well is Giol. The opening 15 did not go his way, but the subsequent 10 certainly have. Cross comes in, looking for Gomis again. This should be bread and butter for Rui Patricio.
Yeah, and you'll see the game plans of both players at the moment. You've got Tammy Abraham, who's leading the line for Roma. Again, physical presence, and you're looking at kind of aerial balls that are going into the box from both teams. Bafétimbi Gomis down the other end. You can see that that's kind of where this game plan is looking for both teams here. They're looking to maybe exploit the fact of the physical kind of attributes that these two players have.
Abraham has a man over here as well. The dummy is good enough to retain possession. Lovely piece of skill here as well. Zaniolo can really get his strike away, but Stifler rewarded with only a corner.
Yeah, it was good defending in the end. Abraham got free. I think it broke to Pellegrini. Ball gets back into the box. There's dummies and dummies and dummies, but defender gets a foot on it. It goes out for a corner. This is warming up slowly.
Slowly but surely here in our game one. Possession starting to tick back in Galatasaray's favour. Corner, though, to Roma yields nothing. And of course, the addition of Dream Team to eFootball means there are new tactics, new managers to consider as well. But here comes Van Aanholt on this near side. Can't quite lock onto the ball that time around for Giol, but he'll win the ball back here. Gomes. Van Aanholt. There's quite a lot of room here to work with. Can maybe pick out a pass to a teammate. And oh, it's gone past everyone. And almost landed in the back of the net. What happened there, Wes?
That would have been very fortuitous. I think the player going across the line of sight of Rui Patricio, that animation for him to make the save already locked in, and then the defender doesn't quite lock onto it, clips off the post and goes to the other side. Again, quite lucky from that aspect there, but Roma on the attack again. But, you know, there's not been too much to speak of in terms of big chances yet for Galatasaray. Obviously, we know their fan base is passionate. They'll be expecting 3 points in every single game, regardless of who they're coming up against. So they'll be looking to try and get a goal, or will their team on to get a goal early.
They have some defending to do here just before half-time. Mkhitaryan gets his strike away. Strong hand, though. And Giol will be able to maybe spring a counter here.
There will be 1 minute at a
In our
time.
first game of the day. It will be the last attack of the half, seemingly, for one of these two clubs. That's just the 1 minute added on. Long ball over to that far side yields nothing for Galatasaray, but it does gift a chance maybe for Roma. But the half's ended. You can see Stifler is a little bemused because he felt he was through on goal, but honours even so far in this game, Wes.
Yeah, he was definitely looking for a play on there. He was waiting to see whether Abraham would get in there. Ref blows up slightly early. And as we look to the left-hand side of the screen, just something to point out that's just come off of our screen is the team play style level. I know I mentioned it momentarily. If you have a 90 team play style, your players get a 1 or +1 overall boost. If it's 95, it's +2. If you get it up to 100, it's a +3 overall boost. So look for, keep your eyes on that if you are looking for, aspects of Dream Team that you might not really realise watching at home. These players will be tuned in to go and get the absolute best out of everything that they've got to work with here.
Well, every day's a school day with Wes in the commentary booth. Great to have you again with us this season. For now, though, Roma with Abraham might just get there first. And, well, what's the referee given here? Has he given a penalty, I wonder?
I think he has. It's Tammy Abraham that's adjudged to have been brought down.
Oh, it's Abraham versus Muslera. Stifler versus Giol for their first goal. And it's tucked away nicely. Stifler's first goal into the eFootball Championship Pro comes from the penalty spot, but he won't mind one single bit as Roma enter the lead.
Yeah, I know we've spoken about ref calls. We saw a couple of questionable ones yesterday. Tammy Abraham just gets a toe to that before Muslera cleans him out. And it's an absolute rifle of a penalty right into the roof of the net from Tammy Abraham. I think you put 3 goalkeepers in there and nobody is stopping that one. But delight for Stifler, gets himself ahead. You take your chances in this game, and Stifler will be very, very happy with that.
Yeah, you can see Muslera just going for the ball, but got none of it in the end. Confirmation, the latest goal and the first of the eFootball Championship Pro campaign for AS Roma and for the debutant Stifler as well. Now the question is, what is there in terms of a Galatasaray reply? A clean enough strike, but wide of the target.
Yeah, he created the space very well. Neat little back heel that just pops through the legs there. You can see the dummy again. It forces Smalling into a challenge almost. It's just not quite the quality on it that you'd need. And it kind of goes back to that, as we said, the choices that these players are making through who they level up and who they don't level up. Having players that can come on and make damage and make changes to the game is vitally important here. So as much as it is having a good starting 11, you need to have a good bench as well, especially if you need to make changes.
Well, I have no doubt those changes are in the offing for now, though. Galatasaray have an attack and, well, they won the ball at that front post. However, nothing to show for it just now, and they've got some defending to do here as well. Stifler coming forward with Zaniolo. That one will be kicked into touch. And I tell you what, Wes, those changes might be just what Galatasaray need right now because they're struggling to find that breakthrough that they need here in game one.
Yeah, and as we said, this kind of magical period between 60 and 70 minutes, you need to start considering them. It's just a case of, do you bring on the right player? Have they got the right player skills? Have they got the right traits that you need to change the game here as Gomez looks to run through here?
Still has a man to beat, but has players arriving as well for Joel. But unfortunately, it's been slim pickings up front for the Turkish club. Something, no doubt, Joel will want to try and rectify in the final 25 in-game minutes of regular time. Stifler at the back, calm and collected. And, well, the goal for Stifler now might be, hey, let's keep this ball in play. Let's not let this pause come through and let Galatasaray get those reinforcements that they seemingly need at this point, Wes.
Yeah, the longer that you can keep the ball in play, the longer that these players will stay on the field, and the more energy it's going to sap out of them. But, you know, if you're Roma, you just keep it in play as long as you can. But also, to point out there, if it does go to a pause and if it does get queued, it also gives Roma the opportunity to freshen legs and to get people on. So, if anything, it just depends on how comfortable you are at this point in time.
Well, that is a fantastic ball to Mkhitaryan in his first touch, though. Letting him down. There's lots of gaps opening in front of the defence here in terms of Galatasaray. And Stifler might try and benefit from this, but Muslera, strong hands. 15 to go until game one is in the books.
Yeah, and now it's entering that kind of realm of, okay, well, we're past that substitution bit. You'll start to see players get very tired at this point in time, and the game will start to open up. Even on a quick counter tactic, you'll still see this game open up a fair bit.
Defending to do here for Roma, and I tell you what, Galatasaray are through, and they score. No substitution needed this time around. Joel proving the 11 on the pitch are good enough to get the job done. Your 79th minute equaliser comes from Galatasaray.
It's a fantastic through ball. It is all about that through ball. It's a brilliant ball. And again, a very composed finish from Joel, getting himself back onto level terms, but you'll see it better here. It's a neat little, it's a beautiful pass. It is a beautiful pass. It's a very controlled finish. 1-1, all to play for, and now we have the pause cue. So now it's going to be a case of goals gone in, you've got 10 minutes, what are you going to do?
It's very much a case of that half-time team talk almost from the manager changing with that goal. The system in the end for Galatasaray and the faith in that system were enough to get that equaliser. The Stifler maybe try and change something himself here. You can see the extended pauses coming from the Turkish club's side. Stifler obviously quite happy with how his team's played up to this point.
Yeah, but you'll notice with those substitutions that have been brought on, I believe I've just seen Arda Turan that's been brought on there. You saw El Shaarawy being brought on for Stifler and for Roma. The interesting part with that, though, is because of that team strength level, these players are not going to be, I would say, kind of high level. So as a result, their powers may not necessarily be at their peak, but they still could cause damage.
Number 92.
So 10 in-game minutes to go then. For what could be a very interesting conclusion to our game one. There's your confirmation. Joel with his first goal on his eFootball Championship Pro debut. But here's El Shaarawy. Should do better. The goalkeeper always closing him down, but now Galatasaray trying to come forward. Both clubs going for this, Wes. They do not want a draw here whatsoever, but that's a bit of an unforced error as Galatasaray get the ball back.
Well, I think given the complexity of the group, as we as it was earmarked during the draw show that Group A was almost the group of death. Group B is that group you actually just want to get out of, regardless of what placement you get into. So you can see the urgency in both players to try and get a winner here because they know how important it would be to get 3 points.
Barbel gets his cross in here as well. Headed away by Roma. And they have a chance to spring a break now as well. And they have numbers pouring forward. El Shaarawy. Tammy Abraham back to El Shaarawy now. And Maitland-Niles is through! And is that the winner? Celebrations into the stands. As Stifler, with so little time left on the clock, is back into the lead, 2-1.
Well, we talked about substitutes, we talked about impacts and how they could still make an impact. It's Ainsley Maitland-Niles who has got the finish off of the bench. Again, brilliant passing play from Stifler to get that opportunity on, which we'll see in just a moment. But you'll see
the numbers were there, weren't they?
Numbers were flying forward on quick counter. You can see there's 3 men there. You can see that the pass and move is on. It's it's first time passing. It's a great finish given the fact that, again, De Jol, for all of his great work, it didn't really fall well for him with the manual goalkeeper. You'll see very much just completely out of his depth. And as a result, Stifler finds himself 2-1 up with not long left on the clock. He gives the shush to, I don't know whether that's to us or whether that's a De Jol, but it's certainly a statement for him, especially given his, debutant kind of tag that he has this season.
2 goals in his first game. He can shush the haters. He can shush the nerves. No doubt AS Roma would have had some doubts coming in. Some doubters as well. But he has proven them all wrong. Stifler with a 2-1 victory for AS Roma in his first game in the competition. That is one of the stronger debut performances we've seen over the years, Wes, in this competition. That man right there looked cool as ice, had belief the entire time. And boy, he could be one to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, you only need one person to believe in you, and that is yourself. And if you've got that self-confidence, brilliant penalty right into the roof of the net. And to have that confidence to come out in a debut game and be able to perform to that level, it's fantastic for him. You can even see a slight chuckle on his face as that one goes in. But I tell you, the look of seriousness on his face when the final goal goes in, you can see exactly what that meant to him.
We then saw a fabulously carved through ball to force the equaliser for Galatasaray. And it was looking for all the while that the honours and the points would be shared here in game 1. It's a tidy finish, but then we saw the incredible counter. The numbers were there. It was just beautiful to find and manipulate the passes and the defence really well. And the finish was tight indeed. You do feel a little bit for Giol because you could tell his intention was with the manual goalkeeping. It looked like Maitland-Niles was going to shape to shoot on that side. So it is a risk through one-on-one. But Semra, it's got to be said, a fantastic debut from Stifler, and Roma, they're on the board with 3 points.
That it was indeed, and we all love a little bit of late drama, don't we? Settling for a draw is never going to be good enough. He fought out to the very end, took it to the wire for a late winner, and he got his reward. So we'll see what happens then going into game 2, because that really was quite an exciting way to start the day. We can see if we can have a bit more surprise as well then, and let's see who's going to feature for this one. And it does look as though it's going to be Kepa, who is someone with a lot of pedigree in this competition. You may well remember that he finished as the second top scorer with 18 goals last season. On top of that, he picked up the MVP award on Matchday 8, but even adding to his accolades in his CV, he comes into this as well as the reigning European champion with Serbia. He'll be up against Roma, someone who is going to be making his debut with Roma, I believe. And he's also got a bit of talent of his own, of course. As we know, he made it as a semi-finalist a couple of years ago in the European Championships as well. But having said that, the pressure is likely to be on Kepa now, isn't it? Because Galatasaray, they really do need to get their hands on those 3 points.
They most certainly do, but if there's a player that you want to be putting, Wes, in a high-pressure situation, it's going to be Kepa. He is a player that I think Galatasaray fans will be incredibly happy to see on their books this season because, as Semra said, Euro champion last year, that was in 1 versus 1. So if there's a man to do it, it's probably this man.
Yeah, and if you want, if there's anybody who you wouldn't want to go up against, it is Kepa. You'd much rather him be on your team than not be on your team. So for Galatasaray, it's a great, piece of business from them to bring him in. But again, you talk about players who have quietly gone about their business and how good they have been over, the course of a couple of years. We remember almost that Cinderella-like run that Romania had in the Euros, and Irma was forefront, of that push. And, again, in terms of kitting out in Roma colours, he's proved it in this competitions before. Can he go ahead and prove it again, but this time in a 1v1 format?
I think that's the question. We say thank you very much to Semra for, of course, making sure we are behaving ourselves here on the mics. We do try our best. But now we see game 2. And it's Galatasaray who need the points at this moment in time. They will feature as well in match 3 today against Barcelona. But as we said before, Wes, incredibly important as we take a quick glimpse of how Kepa's going to set his team up to hit the ground running in this group, because you do not get these points back at the end of the season.
Yeah, you've got to bounce back quickly in this competition with this new format. There's a lot of kind of almost gaming myths out there of, it's my first game of the day. This is a hell of a first game of the day that you've got to come into, and this is a pressure environment. If it doesn't go the way for Galatasaray, they're no points from a possible 6, and Roma are streaking ahead. But again, if you're Irma as well, there's a bit of pressure on you too. Your debutants now come out and set the benchmark. You've now got to go and match it.
Oh, we kick off then game 2. New clubs for both of these experienced players. And well, the defence here has just absolutely let this one through. And Kepa, it's a shame we can't see his reaction there, because he was expecting a much better finish. This was a bit of a gift.
Yeah, it's a bit of a defensive mistake from Irma. You saw him, he had control of the defender, kind of broke the stride pattern of the defender, and as a result, left a lot more room than I think Kepa was anticipating. And again, though, it's a poor finish from Kepa's standards to not really even get that on target.
Oh, we've barely had time to introduce the two clubs, and already the first chance on the board. It will be Roma decked out in white and Galatasaray in their usual home strip. Throw in deep into Galatasaray territory here for Roma. Mkhitaryan. And he get his strike away. Oh, it's just off the post. Second chance now, but it's offside. That was incredible, Wes. That was a stunning shot I saw just then.
Yeah, it's the first real example of a clean strike. We saw one yesterday. I think it was in the Man United game with Cams, but that's the first one that you saw that's got real venom behind it. And again, it's that risk and reward. It takes a little bit of time to wind up, but it will give you a little bit more power behind your shots. And it's unfortunate it did not find the back of the net.
Well, my advice to you, viewer at home, do not blink. These two will be going hammer and tongs at each other the entire match, the entire game here in game 2. You can see the result at the top of your screen, how game 1 went in Roma's favour, and they're attacking forward here as well, as you have Jan in the box, and well, it sneaks in through the keeper. Galatasaray did all they possibly could, but Roma, as they did in game 1, take the lead once more.
Yeah, it's made by looking for that run from Tammy Abraham. We saw it a lot with Maeda yesterday. But again, similarly types of tactics that are coming to the fore here. You'll see it very shortly here. If you keep your eyes on Tammy Abraham, you can see he's already pointed, already off and running, and he's waiting for it. And it's Ohene Jan, the youngster, who takes a touch, and that's vital in those scenarios, because we saw yesterday, and players of eFootball will know, if you take those shots first time, sometimes they can end up in row Z. They might end up in the goal. It's unlucky for Kepa there, because he did go manual and he almost kept it out, but it squirms underneath the goalkeeper, and it's Roma 1, Galatasaray 0.
Roma ecstatic, his first goal for his new club, first of the season obviously as well. And well, I think this may well be a free kick, not quite the penalty that some of the fans were looking for. In fact, yep, the infraction has happened quite far back. So an immediate chance then for Galatasaray to get one back. Goes over the wall and past that far post. We've seen that before from Kepa. He's a wily free kick taker on international duty. And there you have it, the Romanian scoring for his new club, AS Roma. And that could be huge in the grand scheme of this group. He's coming forward once more. Here is Jan once more. Zaniolo arriving here as well. He's gone down in the area, and this ball has not been dealt with yet. Zaniolo once again is cleared away finally. Galatasaray living incredibly dangerously in the opening 20 minutes here of game 2. And that is dealt with once more by Roma.
It's those ricochets that are the undoing of a lot of players at the moment. Again, just not quite finding the ball after it kind of breaks into open field, and it's just who can react the quickest. And it was good work from Roma to get that second chance, but even more so better defensive work to get the blocks in.
Free kick given straight back to the Romans. Galatasaray now have an opportunity as there is a runner through the middle, but that pass is unable to find a lane. That's a lovely dummy on that far side. What can Kepa for Galatasaray do now? Up against his former club, of course, Wes, if I'm not mistaken.
This will be vital for AS Roma if they can get another goal here.
Oh, that's a lovely ball to Jan, and Mkhitaryan is there to make it 2. Just over 25 gone, and Roma, they double their lead. That was a fantastic extra pass to be played, and Roma is second of the season.
Yeah, we talk about runners and dragging players out of position. Right hand side of your screen, you'll see that the right midfielder has actually brought the left back and played everybody on side, which has allowed that brilliant ball. And the amount of time he's got to take that down, find that extra pass, and get tucked away by Henrik Mkhitaryan. 2-0 to Roma, 2-0 to Roma. You can see he's like, everybody be cool, everybody relax. We've still got a lot of time left on this clock, and again, you talk about perennial dangers. There is no more so than Kepa. When he's goals down, he will still be an absolute threat.
Well, big changes in the AS Roma camp this season, but I think the fans will be enjoying what they're seeing so far. Already securing 3 points thanks to Stifler's efforts in game 1, and well, Roma come forward again here. Roma's looking to maybe chase down Mestre at the top of the goal-scoring charts. Galatasaray and Kepa just cannot seem to find a way through this Roma midfield currently. Kepa coming forward, has Gomes through the middle here as well. We'll have 2 defenders for company, but sticks it away. It's the talisman we highlighted. Bafatimi Gomes pulls one back for Galatasaray. This gets really interesting now.
Yeah, there's nothing more dangerous than a wounded animal, and Kepa will not go quietly into the night in this game. Again, it's a really good sequence of play. You'll notice here the ball comes backwards. It's that backwards pass that allows Gomes to make the run. So you can initiate the run with one player, play it off to another player, and by the time you are ready to make the pass, your player will be clean through. You'll notice it here, comes through to where Gomes should be. It's an outside of the boot pass, even for for style points even there. But Gomes gets through, clinical, hits the shot, finds the corner, and there is that trademark celebration we've come to know from Bafatimi Gomes.
2-1 then. Before half-time. Something tells me we're going to have more goals to come from these 2 experienced players holding the controllers. It's that man Gomes again, causing the Roma defence all kinds of problems. Dealt with for now, though. Now a chance for another Kepa attack. That's a nice bit of skill inside, and Gomes is through down the middle as well. Oh, past the post. He had an extra pass on there potentially as well, Wes.
Yeah, I thought that pass was going to go early there, but it's a brilliant piece of individual skill. Again, allowing the runner of Gomez, who is probably Galatasaray's best finisher at this point in time, just whistles past the post. And again, Irma of Roma will be taking a huge sigh of relief there.
Well, he's had his chances this game, hasn't he? Kepa. You remember back to the second minute. Roma's defence was carved open then. It's been carved open a couple of times since as well. Kepa, of course, someone Roma fans will know very well for his efforts last season with the club. 2 minutes to be added on then. Jan to Mkhitaryan. Oh, he gets the strike away early. And he's back on the score sheets. Second today. 3-1 Roma.
And that's the difference in making your team more balanced rather than just putting all of your proverbial eggs in one basket and powering up players. You can power up and level up players like Mkhitaryan. Superb finish from him. Again, it's that dummy to open up the space that we keep seeing. And again, it's almost metronomic, that passing that we're seeing from Irma. But again, it's that dummy that takes that defender out of the game, as we'll see it again here. Beautiful little back heel again. And you'll see that just takes the dummy, opens up the lane, finds the corner, and it's 3-1.
Passion coming through from the Romanian. Very happy with his performance so far. Half-time is imminent, and no doubt the whistle will come incredibly soon. But Kepa felt like a comeback was on the cards with that Gomes goal. But in the end, seemed like a bit of a foundation built on sand in that first half. As we take a look at the halftime stats now, what needs to change for Kepa? A bit of a loaded question, of course, but he has the experience. He's been in this position before. It's going to be a difficult one to change things around.
I think for Kepa, it's a case of getting hold of the ball and just getting it moving and picking out passes. Try not to dally too much on the ball. This Roman midfield is pressuring again. You've got to move the ball and be accurate with it. So you can see they're giving away to Mkhitaryan, but it's giving every piece of impetus to Roma to come flying forward again and to attack in numbers.
Oh, Mkhitaryan quickly becoming a key chess piece here as Abraham gets his strike away, and oh, it just goes in. You see the celebration from Irma. I'm not quite sure he expected this one to result in a goal, but it's 4 for Roma. It's 4 for Irma. And it's devastating for Galatasaray, 4-1.
Yeah, as we said, comes from a cheap giveaway in midfield. It comes away from trying too much with the players that you have, and instead it allowed, as we said, the impetus for Roma to come flying out. It's a great save, but again, how has he got that in from there? You can see almost the reverse swing on it that's managed to creep in at the back post. Again, Irma's not going to care how that's gone in. He's just going to be happy that it has gone in, and it's 4-1 in the very early stages of the second half here.
Well, Kepa coming from the kickoff here, but confirmation of Irma's 4th here in game 2. Something tells me Matchday from Bayern München will be looking over his shoulder at the end of today. Roma, they are jubilant right now. Contrasting celebrations, of course. Stifler shushing the haters. Irma blowing kisses to the fans.
It's like Jekyll and Hyde out of the Roma team at the moment. You've got one person who is very much wanting to silence people, and the other person is very much wanting to embrace them.
Something tells me we may well see a bit of game management here as well from Irma. He knows he's up by 3 goals. But there's still a lot of time left here in game 2. And I think that shows a level of respect to his opposition here. Knows how good and how dangerous Kepa can be. Jan threatening to get in behind there.
Yeah, it's more a case of it's deciding when you start to employ that type of tactic. If you go too early, again, you're giving every piece of pressure that Galatasaray can come forward on. But, on the flip side, you need to keep killing this clock as much as you can.
Oh, lovely piece of skill there from Kepa, and Gomes, not for the first time this game. Cannot trouble the goalkeeper. And I'm not surprised at all to see this pause come through. Half an hour left in the in-game clock. You got to throw the kitchen sink at this game now if you're Kepa. You're down by 3. Nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, I mean that's I suppose that's the beauty of this, is that it's, you know, it's one game and out. The only issue you have got is potentially goal difference that could creep in here, and you don't want to kind of ship too many goals in one game and potentially leave yourself vulnerable to a goal difference being a deciding factor.
We can see confirmations of the substitutions just flash up there in the top left corner. We did, when we were talking about the match at the start of today, Wes, talk about Arda Turan. Surprised to see him not feature more prominently, but now's the opportunity to do so. Here he is on the ball now. That Roma defence looks absolutely solid at the back, cleared once more. And Roma is looking incredibly impressive here today.
If you talk about the physical attributes they've got Mancini, they've got Smalling.
Abraham! Oh my word, the stunning shot. Sorry to cut across you there, Wes, but as soon as I see that purple bar, I'm surprised, shocked, and most importantly, excited.
But the thing is, if you're giving people that type of room, it's going to be on. And if you're going to back off and back off and back off, you're just going to give them the room to do that.
Corner then to AS Roma. Sitting pretty right now with this scoreline. Abraham wins the header as well, and it's bouncing dangerously on the goal line. Galatasaray settle for now. But they just have not been able to get anything of threat going offensively, Galatasaray. And when they have, it's resulted in somewhat of a lackluster finish. They've got one, but they need a lot more than that.
Yeah, they need to just improve that attacking mentality going forward here.
Here's Kepa now in the box as well, physically shepherded away from the ball. We've seen those given. And now it's called for a Galatasaray offside. It's I think, worrying for Galatasaray when you come into this game. You're looking to turn to Kepa for a bit of experience. But it's been an absolute resounding victory so far. Stranger things have happened, Wes, but so far a resounding victory for Irma. Just 15 in-game minutes to go.
Yeah, and you'll notice just very quickly on the side of the screen there from Irma, you'll notice that he's only got one sub that's probably, I think it was 85 rated, and talking about levels and things like that. If you've only got one sub that you're looking to bring on, it gives the rest of your starting 11, it gives you the ability to have a lot more in the tank for those players. So it becomes more of a talking point in between players, even in their teams, as to how they format their team. Do you go and make the strongest starting 11 possible and hope it carries you through? Or do you look to have a wide range of a bench? And I think at the moment, with Galatasaray, we talked about Arda Turan, we talked about players that they have at their disposal, but it's whether they have the right amount of training points in the right places to make their players or make the best of their situation, because at the moment they don't appear to be playing to their own team strengths.
Of course, this season the clubs are locked to a maximum 2,300 squad rating, so you've got to choose where exactly you want your strengths to lie. As Wes said, do you go for squad depth? Do you go for an amazing starting 11? For now, though, Tammy Abraham is in, and you've got Jean there as well, but his first touch is nothing short of abysmal. It could have been 5. They will come again now, Roma. Mkhitaryan, and that's a disappointing one, all the way through to Muslera.
Yeah, and it seems to be in the early, at least our early viewings of Roma, they appear to have that balance that they know who they want to play and they know how they want to play, which is vital. It's half the battle is knowing your squad inside and out. The second half is going and performing to a level that befits them, and certainly Irma has done that in absolute spades here.
Looking a well-rounded team and club for this season, AS Roma. This one is but a formality at this point. 2 minutes added on for Galatasaray, perhaps, to get a consolation. Gomes now here for Kepa. But that, I think, has summed up their day here in game 2. And it's yet another 3 points going to AS Roma. You see the celebration from Irma. Once more blowing a kiss to the fans. An excellent performance from the new player. Galatasaray, they have work to do in games to come, Wes. Here are your stats, but try, if you can, to sum up that incredible performance from Irma.
Yeah, it was shock and awe from Irma, realistically. I mean, the skills and the ability to execute under pressure. You know, like we said, you know, Kepa was under pressure for a very different reason. Irma is under the pressure of, I need to go and perform at the level that we saw out of the first game from Stifler. So, if anything, he's gone and exceeded that level by scoring more goals.
Scoring more goals indeed. There is the opening chance for Galatasaray, and that, I think, for the Turkish fans would have maybe given them something to expect for the game to go on. But Jan with the opener just 7 or so in-game minutes later. Was an unfortunate one to concede, but they all count the same.
Yeah, and as we said in commentary, Irma won't mind how it went in. If it's bundled across the line, if it smacks somebody off the back of the head and goes in, he's not going to care so long as it's a goal for AS Roma. It's a beautiful goal from there. You know, again, to have the composure to find the additional pass. You know, it takes the manual goalkeeping out of commission because you've passed it across and you've got yourself a free man. And again, you can see there he was urging, you know, calmness from his teammates and calmness from those around him because he knew the job wasn't done. You know, at 2-0, it's a delicate scoreline within eFootball. And, you know, as it proved here, it was a great through ball here to find Bafétimbi Gomes. And again, very instinctive, fires it home. And we thought, oh, okay, this is going to catch fire now. And unfortunately, it then turned out that Irma extinguished that fire.
Yeah, this was the Gomes goal to cut the lead in half at 2-1. We'll get to see more goals, of course, to come as we just cycle through the highlights. There was Mkhitaryan's second of the game to make it 3. But the question is, Wes, we saw similar score lines yesterday when we look at the results of Game 1 and Game 2 from AS Monaco, losing the first 2 to Celtic. You now turn to someone in Mujahid, who is a strong 1-versus-1 player to try and get some points back, as there was the fourth from AS Roma. A wonderfully taken goal from that angle. Do you think Mujahid now has all the pressure in the world, or does he have less pressure?
I think he's got all of the pressure. He now knows that he's got to get something on the board because you don't want to go out into their second game of the day and be on 0 points. So it's vital that he gets something out of this game.
Oh, another wonderful performance from AS Roma. Irma there, loving his new club, Semre. It was a great performance, and they're up to 6 points now in this match.
And I tell you what, with the ilk of Kepa, you would have thought the scoreline would have been the other way around, knowing what he's capable of doing in front of goal, but really has been so impressive from AS Roma so far. And they really are giving me a bit of the Celtic vibes of yesterday, the only other team that have completely revamped their squad. And so far, they're proving that it really was worth doing. 6 points from 6. Absolutely astonishing stuff from them so far. We'll see if they can carry that on into Game 3 or if Galatasaray can find a way to climb back into this match. So let's see who's going to be featuring. As we know, you've already hinted at it. It's going to be Mujahid for Galatasaray, the only Turkish representative in this competition. On top of that, he had the best defensive record in the competition last season. So he certainly will be hoping that he can keep a clean sheet in this one, because up next he's going to be against Gallardo for AS Roma, a relative newcomer, you could say. He had a handful of games and matches last season out with Celtic before switching allegiances to join and make his debut for a full season with AS Roma. But in the case of Mujahid, well, he certainly is going to hope that his defence is on point and that he's brought his shooting boots, because it would be terrible for Galatasaray to finish this match without any points on the board.
Yeah, it's a good point you raised, because Mujahid last season defensively in co-op was incredibly good. He was the best defender in the league, if I remember correctly, on in terms of defensive points. But that was 3 versus 3. I don't want to speak on behalf of Mujahid, but from what I've seen, Wes, a much stronger 1-versus-1 player than he is in the co-op game. And we saw yesterday from AS defensive players can sneak results here or there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's that change in dynamic, as it were. You know, from going from 3v3 to 1v1, you know, we will see the best of players. We will potentially see the worst of players. Some players may have hidden behind teammates and potentially have kind of skimmed along here, but I don't think Mukahit falls into that category. A very, very solid player. We've seen it on the national stage. We've seen it in a, you know, representing himself. But, you know, Gagliardo will not be one to kind of shrink on this type of occasion. I think this will almost be his coming out party, I think, for AS Roma.
Well, we say thank you very much to Semra. We'll get to chat to you more after the game here. Game 3 between Galatasaray and Roma. The players are just setting up their teams, making sure the team sheet is compliant within, of course, the rules. We have our referee in the back, Sergio, making sure that all the rules are being upheld. But a lot of pressure now. A lot of pressure on Mukahit. On Gagliardo's side, you have to say it's a new club for him. It's a position where Roma already have those 6 points out of 6 so far. Does this almost become a bit of a free hit for the new man?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, you look very briefly at his lineup there. I think it's right on the limit of 2,300. So you know that he's put a lot of time, a lot of work into getting that to the exact level he wants it to be. I think I saw a 92 rated Abraham, which you notice the little differences between each squad member. So, you know, seeing how these players behave under different players' controls is going to be fascinating. But for Gagliardo, I think it is a little bit of a free hit. There's already 6 points on the board for Roma. Yes, it would be nice to have 9 or even 7, but you know, I don't think it's the end of the world if he does come unstuck and lose here.
Well, he will be hoping to impress his new club, Will Gagliardo, but on the other side, the captain Mukahit representing Galatasaray for a second season now. His fans will be looking to him to steady the ship and make sure Galatasaray come away from this match with something to show for it. AS Roma, as they have for the previous 2 games, decked out in all white. Galatasaray in their home strip. And it's an early attack here for Galatasaray. And I tell you what, Mukahit's in behind here and opens the scoring. A beautifully taken goal. And Galatasaray strike first. Into the lead now. The Turkish club 1-0.
Yeah, it's a brilliant move. I originally looked up for a flag. I will not lie to you at home. I genuinely was looking and thinking, is that offside? It's a wonderfully timed ball from Bafatimi Gomis and through to Atakoglu. Brilliant finish from him. And again, Mukahit early going, gets a goal ahead, and all of a sudden changes the complexity for Galatasaray straight away here.
Well, we know how good Mukahit is at the back, but the prowess going forward there was a sight to behold. A goal within the opening 10 minutes, and I tell you what, he's looking for the 1-2 punch here as well to poke it through to Bafatimi Gomis. Mukahit then on the board for Galatasaray this season. And it's a great ball through to Gomis. He's wrestled down to the floor, but it will still be in possession of Galatasaray, who are in search of more goals to join the likes of Matchday and Lotfi at the top of that table, you see. On the left-hand side of your screen, Roma already up to 5th place with 4 goals after just 1 game. That is impressive indeed. Roma looking a real force this season, but they're down here in game 3 with 15 minutes gone.
Yeah, you can see Roma just trying to steady the ship a little bit from where they've conceded. Not quite as fluid at the moment, but I'd imagine give it time and allow this game to open up a little bit. If Galatasaray do open up a little bit and give them a little bit of room, we may see an opportunity come by for Tammy Abraham. It's going to be up to Gagliardo to make sure that he finishes.
You can see from the silky skills in midfield that Mujahid very much feeling confident and at home in the 1 versus 1 discipline. There's a chance here potentially for Roma. But you're very right that the chances will come for Roma. There's a stunning pass to Gomes, looking to feed a teammate, but that is almost a very dangerous deflection indeed.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with those ricochets. They can go literally anywhere. As you see Galatasaray back on the attack. Great little double touch.
And you can tell Mujahid knowing his team incredibly well. The skill moves and playing to the strengths, Wes, which is going to be a theme that we talk about a lot throughout the eFootball Championship Pro this year. It's all about knowing the proverbial weapons at your disposal.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot's to be said for we're seeing a lot of teams line up in a very similar formation. You know, that 4-3-3, very direct. And whilst it does work for some teams, it may not necessarily benefit everybody. So I think they've got to be a little bit more considerate. Brilliant ball in again.
That is a fantastic ball and an even better finish from Mujahid, who doubles the lead. The captain steps up in a big way so far in this first half. The goals, they seemed like they were coming. He seems the more comfortable. And it's 2 now for Galatasaray.
Yeah, we talk about being at home with your team. We talked yesterday about, players almost being a little bit of a distraction. Mujahid appears to be using Bafétimbi Gomis more as a lightning rod to allow other players into the game. It's that man again. It's Aktakoglu, who just very delicate chip over the goalkeeper. You can see the little X where it was going to land. You knew it was going to clip off the post and go into the back of the net. It's a brilliant finish, and Mujahid showing his team the way of how to play with this Galatasaray side.
Half an hour gone, and the captain has scored 2. And they needed him most. And of course, Galatasaray fans at home, we know how passionate they are. We'll be hoping the result stays this way here in Game 3 so they can be involved in the victory giveaway campaign. Here is Abraham now, though, and he gets his strike away! An absolute banger from Tammy Abraham. Gagliardo's first goal of the season is an absolute stunner.
It's like we said, if you have enough room to execute it, and if you have enough confidence in the player you're controlling, stunning shots are an incredibly effective way to score. Past the keeper before he's even realised what day it is. Brilliant finish from Abraham. And again, all of a sudden now, 2-1. We saw an echo almost of the game with Kepa. There's now a goal back in the game. The next goal, not to use a footballing cliche, but the next goal is absolutely vital for either one of these teams.
The frustration from the Galatasaray captain to concede in such a manner, but Gagliardo now on the board for the Romans in a fantastic way as well. Half-time can't seem to come soon enough for Galatasaray, as it looked as if Gagliardo was going to go in search of an equaliser immediately. 5 minutes till the half, plus stoppages, of course. And that goal just gives Mujahid something to think about here, Wes, as it was looking exactly to script at 2-0 up.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you can put a little bit of doubt in somebody, you may force them to make an unforced error, do something they're not quite used to. I mean, we've just seen a kind of a ball just floated into midfield out of nowhere. It's given Roma the opportunity to get him towards goal.
Oh, they could not deal with El Shaarawy. Gagliardo almost getting that equaliser we were talking about. The doubts and the hesitation as well, Wes. We'll see it better from this angle. Just wide of the post. Maybe creeping in now for Mujahid.
Yeah, you can see the footwork. It's like Gagliardo's got his second wind. He's got a bit of confidence back in him. Again, a player of El Shaarawy's calibre. Again, if you've got a high dribbling stat, that you've developed through the levelling up system within Dream Team, it's a very, very potent weapon to have. So keep your eyes peeled for whether he can keep getting him into the game.
There will be 1 minute at a time.
Mujahid and Galatasaray now trying to carve something open with the double touch, but something tells me that will be the last attempt of the half, and the referee seemingly agrees. Galatasaray up at the break. But you'd have to argue, Wes, as we take a quick look at the stats, that maybe Roma are, I don't want to say with the momentum, but you have to say maybe the doubt is starting to creep in, as we've mentioned, for Galatasaray here.
Yeah, you have to be careful. If you are Galatasaray, you're going to have to be careful. Don't give away the ball cheaply. Don't do anything too rash, and try and get a third goal here and try and kill the game off. You know, a 2-1 deficit, it's not the greatest of scorelines, especially if, you know, anything can happen. We saw in previous seasons where, you know, balls have been fired back to goalkeepers for gamesmanship and it just not work.
Well, Al-Sharawi is able to get his strike away in search of an equaliser. The second bite of the cherry straight at the keeper. So we're into the second half then. The sides swap as Roma try and ride the wave that was their first goal of game 3. But Galatasaray here attacking from left to right. It's all about trying to reinstate that 2-goal lead, and that is, some would say, a decisive defensive decision. But I call it as I see it, Wes. That was a bit of a mistake, as the corner now will come in from Galatasaray. It looked straight at the man, but it will be yet another corner to come, this time on the far side. As we saw yesterday in Group A, these can be very difficult to deal with. It's whipped in, but can't beat the first man this time.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've got to either defend it right out at the source, or you've got to have somebody in the right place, you know, at the front post to make sure that that ball does not go flying through. You know, I mentioned it enough times in commentary yesterday, almost to the point it sounded like I was just ranting, but they've just got to defend these corners better.
Zaniolo then to Mkhitaryan and Tammy Abraham combining as well, as Roma once more coming forward in search of that equaliser here in game 3. Zaniolo tries to stand it up to Mkhitaryan. First time strike from Pellegrini. Will not be enough. We're entering the hour mark now in game. This is around the time you would expect to see some substitutes, and we'll get to see exactly what Mujahid and Gagliardo have prepared in terms of a plan B. Zaniolo, though, running beyond, turns in the box as well. The defender makes his life incredibly difficult. Dangerous game to be playing there, Wes.
Yeah, it's that touch that took it kind of from a chance to being not a chance. It's not something you can master. It's more baked into the player's skills that if they have a particular skill, they're able to do that skill move, but you can't really choose when it happens. So I think Gagliardo will be a little bit disappointed, a little bit annoyed that it hasn't happened for him, but it's broke free on the left with El-Shaarawy.
Nervy times here for Galatasaray fans. El-Shaarawy still has the ball. Nelson steps up. But nervy because you can see games 1 and 2 did not go Galatasaray's way. They would love a third goal to celebrate here. Here comes Mujahid looking for a player on that far side. It will come all the way through, and that is a stunning save to prevent that third goal that Galatasaray were looking for.
How vital could that be for Rui Patricio? It's a massive pull to keep it out of the goal, and now Roma down the other end.
Look at this. Tammy Abraham is offside. That might be the cue then for the changes, or maybe we'll see the game resume. But no, both players electing to switch up their squads here, Wes.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at the bench there. You can see that Aguado's idea is to maybe have a few more balanced players on the bench. There's Carlos Perez, I believe I can see there. You've got Jean that's still there too. So there's 2 or 3 subs that are there, or at least there's 2 subs there that can be used that are of a decent quality that you can bring on to potentially affect the game. And again, if you're looking to chase the game, you want those attacking options. And I think that might be what Aguado has prepared for in this environment, is that if he does go a goal down, he has additional players that can bring on, at least weapons that can go and affect the game. So, you know, look for those players to become prominent after they come off, or after they come out of this pause.
Such
a nervy time of the match. Galatasaray were up by 2, but they have a lead to defend into the final moments of this match. Roma, the team chasing. So we kick to resume the match then. The changes are done and dusted. What fireworks do we have in store to end this game 3? It's been a fabulous match 1 of Group B. We thought Group A yesterday was full of fireworks. This one is proving very much the same. And Carlos Perez has gone down there. Referee not buying that one whatsoever. Hard done by, in my opinion. But here's El Shaarawy. Pellegrini to Abraham. Can he trap the ball? The answer to that question is no.
Yeah, left me absolutely perplexed how that's not been given by the ref. But
well, here he is on the ball again. Perez trying to double touch. A very strong challenge indeed. Will result in a corner. Played out to the edge of the box. Carlos Perez trying to buy a penalty perhaps with these skill moves, or just try and weave a way through for Gagliardo and AS Roma. 10 in-game minutes to go. Galatasaray in full defensive mode. It's, for lack of a better term, a bit of a siege mentality now, as it is all one-way traffic. El Shaarawy has Abraham running beyond. He's trying to find him here as well with the header, of which was straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think if you're an AS Roma fan at the moment, you'd be probably petitioning the referee after this game as to at least 1, if not 2, penalty shouts that could have easily have been given. But fortunately, no dice. And as it stands, clock is still ticking. 4 minutes left. Babel got free on the right-hand side here for Galatasaray. Is he going to try and kill the game a little bit? No, he's dribbling into the box.
He's beaten his first man. Can he find a teammate here? This could be the dagger. And I think Mujahid says, yep, that was my one opportunity I'm going to allow myself. I'm going to try and keep the ball until then. But the ball has come back now as we enter the 90th minute. To AS Roma, can they steal anything away from game 3? Just the 1 minute added on here. And I think that one will be the 3 points going to Galatasaray. Mujahid, he holds on. He defends his lead. And Galatasaray, Wes, they have something to show from their first match in this group. A great performance by that man on your screen.
Yeah, I think that was vital for Galatasaray to at least get on the board. You know, again, we'll give them some semblance of confidence going into, you know, the